Hey guys, I'm Alicia and this is my channel. Thanks for watching. I just decided today, I've been kind of thinking about video logging for other people who are kind of in my similar situation as me, just to see if I can hopefully help people. The way I look at it is if I help one person, then that's good, and that's what matters essentially. So, more than a couple years ago, I gave up drinking alcohol because I was an alcoholic, and I decided that, I really need to get my shit together. I was doing a lot of stuff that is out of my character, and my fiance at the time had come up to me, and who's now my husband, had come up to me and expressed some concern regarding my behavior, and that was kind of one of the things that broke the camel's back, as it were. So I decided to stop drinking. Um, there were a couple other things that happened to me, but I don't really want to get into too much detail about it. But just to say the least, my life was pretty difficult for a couple of years. So I basically, I had to figure out how to become myself again, because when I was drinking alcohol, I was drinking alcohol to cover up emotional pain inside, and wasn't dealing with my problems the way that I should have been dealing with them. And I was seeing a counselor, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to get the help I needed in time from that person because I was still really in denial. Things I used to tell myself to validate my bad behavior was, oh, I'm an adult. I can do what I want. I pay my bills. I go to work every day. I own my own house. I own my own car. I don't need to, prove myself to anybody. If this is what I want to do with my time, then it's okay because I'm an adult. And unfortunately, these are just an example of some of the lies that we tell ourselves to validate our bad behavior. So, it's crazy actually now because I've been sober for over 2 years, and thinking about how I used to lie to myself just so that I could continue using my substance of choice. And the thing is, like, before I stopped drinking, I was going to bed at night thinking I was going to die because I knew that what I was doing to my body wasn't good. And so I would have such severe anxiety and guilt about my behavior that I would drink so much just so I could sleep. I started taking Benadryl, along with alcohol, which obviously isn't good. And then what ended up happening is I would have these panic attacks and night terrors. So eventually, you kind of get to a point where you don't want to live anymore because every day you wake up and your life is hell. You're emotionally drained, you're exhausted physically, because you're not sleeping, you're not eating the way you're supposed to be because the alcohol, that's all you care about is the alcohol. I would say that I'm not, and I don't want to compare myself because everybody has a different level of tolerance and what they consider to be messed up and what is okay, I guess. And I would say, like, I didn't drink during the day. I wouldn't be one of those people that drank in the morning before I went to work. I really hid it very well, which was part of the problem because I didn't reach out for help, and I didn't tell people that, I was in trouble. So I don't think people really knew how bad it was. And it got to the point where the last time I drank, I literally had, so stupid thinking about it, two full bottles of alcohol, and they weren't like, I'm pretty sure they were like the bigger ones, like the bigger bottles of alcohol that are like, I think almost 1 liter. So it's pretty bad, to think about that kind of stuff now. Honestly, like, thinking about drinking now, like, still makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me think about all the things that I was missing out on, how I missed opportunities, and how, I hurt people that I cared about because I wasn't being truthful to myself. I wasn't being truthful to my friends. The thing is, like, I was so isolated too. Like, I didn't have any friends really. I mean, I had like, I won't say I didn't have any friends, but I basically didn't have any friends. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't have anybody who I could go like, hey, I have a problem, can you help me out? Like, I'm serious, like, I really need help. Like, I never had anybody like that I could talk to. Part of the reason was because I had been in a really abusive relationship with someone who was a narcissist, and I didn't know what that was before I had started dating them. So basically, kind of got into that whole situation. And what happened was I had a DUI when I was like 21, I think, 0.12. And that was like it for me. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, oh my God. And I think I didn't drink for like a whole year after that. Because I was like, wow, like, this is horrible. You know what I mean? And then what happened was like I was being pretty good, I would say. Like, I was trying to drink beer and like not drinking hard alcohol and like trying to like manage it. I would say I was definitely in denial, but I can't say I was an alcoholic because I wasn't like going home every night and drinking, like, and I wasn't like every weekend like, oh, I want to drink. Ooh, like, when I was an alcoholic, when I can say I was an alcoholic, I was drinking every night, and like that was all I could think about all day was like, I can't wait to get out of work so I can go home and drink. I can't wait to, you know what I mean? Like, but when I was 21 and I was like in that situation, it wasn't like that at all. But then when I met the person who abused me, they were like a severe alcoholic and drug user, which I didn't know. And I started to use alcohol as a coping mechanism because they were drinking, so I was like doing it too. And then, before you know it, it just got so bad and out of control. I did finally get out of that relationship, but unfortunately, I was alone. I was in like a little tiny 1 bedroom apartment with me and my 3 cats, like literally 500 square feet. And like I literally have a blow up mattress to sleep on because I didn't have a bed anymore because I sold it because of him. Not that I'm going to like get into that right now. Unless you guys want to hear about it, let me know. But basically, that kind of elevated it. So, cut to the chase. The whole thing that happened was now I'm at the point where I'm in personal training and I have told people in my circle, in the fitness world, and my clients, that I was an alcoholic and I'm a recovered alcoholic. And the reason why I tell people this openly is because I want to live my life in the truth now. To me, like, the truth is really important, to be honest and transparent with people, because I don't want to hide anymore. I don't want to hide who I am. I don't want to hide, what I like, what I don't like, that kind of thing. Like, to be kind, obviously, like, with your truth. But, like, it's your truth. And the other thing is, too, because I've been able to come out and say that to people and not be scared of it, there's been people who have literally come up to me and asked me for advice. Like, I can tell you multiple people have come up to me and been like, hey, I'm in this situation. What do you think? Like, hey, what about this? And like, it's good because they feel comfortable enough to talk to me and they know that I'm going to tell them the truth. And I try to be as nice as possible, but it's crazy how many people, how many loved ones become enabling to their loved ones, which obviously it's not their fault. You love your family, you love your friends, you think you're helping them, but the thing is, you're actually hurting yourself because they're in denial. If somebody doesn't want to get help, if they don't realize that they have a problem, then you talking to them isn't actually going to help the situation. Like, maybe it will, depending on how bad it is. Like, if you pull them aside and you're like, hey, I noticed that you've been drinking a lot lately, and I want you to know that I'm here for you if you have any problems. Like, just talk to me. Let them know that you're there. That's okay. You can do that. But I think sometimes a lot of people go about it wrong. They're like, hey, you have a problem. Like, I mean, it's okay to say that too. Obviously, you can say whatever you want. But unfortunately, if someone's in denial and you say something like that, I don't have a problem. What are you talking about? I'm fine. I don't drink and drive. I pay my bills. I have my own house. I have my own car. They're going to say whatever they need to say to validate their bad behavior so they can continue the behavior. So I think it is important for you to tell them how you feel. But the other thing that's really, really important for people that are family members and family of someone who's an alcoholic or has a drinking problem is to establish healthy boundaries between you and that person. So that means letting them know, like, I'm here for you, but you can't be around my children. You can't watch my kids. If you're going to drink at the party, I'm not going to be there. If you start drinking at dinner, I'm going to leave. Like, making literally, but the thing is, when you put boundaries down like that, you also have to enforce them. So if let's just say your father's an alcoholic and you invite him out to dinner and you say, hey, Dad, we're going to ask you not to have alcohol because we don't want you to be like that in front of the kids. And he says, okay. And you say, just so you know, if you have alcohol, we're going to leave. We're going to literally leave the restaurant, okay? I just want to let you know that so you're aware of the consequences, essentially. Like, you don't have to use those words exactly, but just make sure that they are aware of what you're willing to do to make sure that your children are safe or that you're safe emotionally. So then what will happen is you'll go to dinner, and if your dad does decide to drink, or if he says, oh, just one, come on, just one, he tries to push the boundaries with you, then you're going to say, okay, Dad, you made your choice. If you want to drink, if that's the priority for you, instead of having dinner with us or your grandchildren, then we will leave. Oh, come on, you're being difficult. No, I told you. I said, you don't have to get mad. Just say, that's what we agreed on. If you're going to do that, that's okay, but we're going to leave. Period, end. You don't have to get mad. You don't have to get a fight about it. You just get up and you leave. The thing is, when you start to establish boundaries and then to enforce them, then the alcoholic realizes, hey, I don't like this because now I don't get to see my grandkids. I don't get to see my family, whatever it is, whatever the reward is, right? And then maybe it's going to make them think, like, okay, this is affecting people, because they obviously think it's a big enough problem where they have to actually to put things in place so that we can have a relationship. That's the hope. That's the hope when you establish boundaries, okay? It may not work. It may not actually work. It may not make the clock tick, okay? It may make them go, oh, well, whatever. They're just being blah, blah, blah. I don't have a problem. And then you might just not see them. The thing is, though, that's not a consequence for you. That is a consequence for them. And it's a healthy boundary for you because now you can have peace, right? Because you've cut yourself off from that negative behavior. Because you said, I'm not going to accept this behavior. If you do this behavior, then this is going to be how I respond to you, how I respond to that behavior. And then you're going to leave, and then you can be at home with your family, safe. You don't have to deal with Dad getting wasted, and then you don't have to worry about Dad driving drunk, and you don't have to get all bent out of shape because Dad is making bad decisions. Dad, whoever the subject is. So the whole thing is, when you unintentionally enable a person, it's like, oh, well, I took their keys away, or I hid the vodka, or whatever it is you're doing, you're not actually helping them. You think you're helping them, but you're actually not. All you're doing is enabling them. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to go to a meeting. So you can go to an Al-Anon meeting, an Alcoholics Anonymous. So not AA, sorry, Al-Anon. So what that is it's for people who are the family support network, friends of people who use alcohol or drugs to cope with life's problems and create damage for them, emotional damage, financial damage, that kind of stuff. And I can tell you right now, so when I was in that relationship, I ended up going to an Al-Anon meeting once, and I was so lucky because I was just literally at the end of my rope with that person, and I was just like so out of control in my own life, meaning like because this person was just destroying me and I didn't know what to do, and I knew they were using alcohol and drugs, so I went online to try to get help. And thankfully I went to this meeting, and I was really lucky because the first meeting they talked about this tool called detachment. And when they explained it, I was like, wow, I'm like, this is so awesome. Like, I can use this skill to help myself so I don't feel so bad all the time whenever this person has bad behavior. So, I started to apply the tools of detachment, and then like my life got a lot better. And then when I realized that I was codependent too, that even made my life even better, because I was like, wow, like I am doing this behavior. Like, wow, I can't believe, and when I'm reading about codependency, I was like, wow, oh my God, like how did I, because obviously you don't know, right? Because you don't see it in yourself. But then as soon as I read it, I was like, oh my God, like that's exactly what's happening. So I learned about detachment, I learned about codependency. I went to an Al Anon meeting, and I was like, that's how it started, the whole process of like getting out of the relationship and getting better and going to counseling and going to meetings and that kind of stuff. And so little by little, my life got better. But I can tell you right now, within the first 3 months, I was in absolute hell. I mean, just emotional hell, because, like I said, you cover up all those emotions and those feelings. So, use alcohol to cope with it for so long, and then all of a sudden, when that tool is gone, then you're just left with yourself, and you're like, what do I do? So, anyways, guys, I didn't want to go on for too long. If you like this video, hopefully you do. Hopefully it helps somebody. I realized that like I probably don't look that good. I literally worked all day today, and then was like, okay, I'm just gonna relax and whatever. And then I was like thinking about it, and I'm like, you know what? I should just do it. I have these thoughts in my mind, and they seem really clear right now. So let me just get them out here to somebody, and hopefully it'll help. And then going forward, like I'd like to do more videos about me getting my NASM and how that has been, and like becoming a trainer and how that has been, and working in corporate training as a recovered alcoholic. And hopefully that can help somebody. If you guys have any specific questions or any suggestions for a video, please let me know, and I'd be more than happy to try to help you guys. All right, thank you so much. Bye.